What's going on, guys? Today I'm excited to show you all my battles from the recent OU Suspect Live tournament in which Mega Sableye was banned, and basically if you make it to the semifinals of these tournaments you automatically get reqs to vote on Mega Sableye and Shadow Tag. So this is my first game against Welly O. I don't know how to pronounce that, I'll just say it Welly OU, that's what it looks like to me. And oh, by the way, shoutouts to my boy, the Garbage Lord, Darius, for all of the teams that I used in these battles. Yeah, basically I told him that I needed some extra squads for a tournament, and he definitely delivered, including this really nice U-turn Gliscor, which comes through here and catches Welio's Keldeo Resolute on the switch. And I take this chance to Mega Evolve. I didn't think he would go into Gliscor here, so I feel very safe just going for Volt Switch. This is a really nice Volt Turn team that Darius got for me with Choice Banded Hoopa. So I'm going to be able to go back into Gliscor and actually set up my rocks on him. Oh no, I just go for the Earthquake. I decided to go for the aggressive play just in case he had the balls to stay in. But he doesn't. I don't know why this guy stayed and went for knockoff. I guess it is the first round and maybe these players are not as experienced. But I go for the U-turn on his Gliscor back into my Keldeo. Get the nice slow U-turn. I'm actually a relaxed nature just to do that, and I decided to go fishing for some Scald Burns. Fortunately I don't get it, but I have a very easy switch into his Slowbro in my Ferrothorn, but I decided to be a little bit more aggressive and go into Manectric, as that Scald does a lot. At first I was maybe wondering if this was some kind of Mega Slowbro with special attack investment, so I decide in future run-ins with that Slowbro to go into my own Ferrothorn. I decided to go for Fire Punch, didn't see much point in not doing that. I still got pretty decent damage on Keldeo, and I have a very solid switch in my Latios. And here I actually decide to stay in and go for Calm Mind because I really want damage on this Heatran so that my Manectric can sweep the rest of his team. So I feel like, yeah, Calm Mind Latios is actually really good at just breaking down its counters. As yeah, Psyshock does a really nice amount, as he unfortunately goes for the Toxic. Here I really, oh yeah, no, I do go for Recover, as he predicts that, and he predicts me to predict his Protect. Goes for the Lava Plume, does very minimal damage. As here, I figured that I might as well just go into Gliscor since he might Protect this turn, and there was nothing lost by just going for Earthquake because I can just U-turn right out of the Slowbro into my Ferrothorn and actually start laying up some spikes on him to pressure his Keldeo, his Slowbro, his Ferrothorn, and his Heatran. Mostly the Heatran that I need weaken, and I suppose weakening his own Ferrothorn is also really nice for my Hoopa Unbound. As he just tries to fish for the Scald Burn, unfortunately he never gets it, but oh, spoilers. Even if he did get it, in the long run, it really didn't matter. I beat Slowbro 1v1 anyway, unless it has Flamethrower, and with Leech Seed Recovery, I was keeping pretty healthy anyway. So now, I accomplished my goal in the end of weakening his Heatran for my Manectric, as I just decided to make the safe switch into my Latios. I'm getting the Leech Seed Recovery to offset Toxic, as I go for Calm Mind here, just so I'll be able to do more damage to his Ferrothorn coming back in. Unfortunately, he gets the crit with Lava Plume, though it's not going to matter because I'm just going to go for Recover here, get all my HP back. And now I have a +1/+1 Latios on the field, and he has to switch in his Ferrothorn, and I really do appreciate that being weakened for my Hoopa Unbound in the end. But he's gonna go for Leech Seed. I guess maybe he doesn't have Gyro Ball, and I decide to actually switch out. I want to save that for his Keldeo and go into my own Ferrothorn, finish laying up my spikes. As it's pretty much a Ferrothorn versus Ferrothorn standoff, as he lays up his own spikes, and that's kind of a red flag to me. It's like, okay, I need to go back into my Manectric before these spikes add up and I'm not able to switch in on anything. And once again, he doesn't go into Gliscor here, as I just go for the Flamethrower, KO what's in front of me. I figured he didn't want to send out Gliscor because Flamethrower plus HPIs would not get out, but that's okay. I'm okay with sacking Manectric here because just because I got the damage I needed for it to be kind of useless versus my team, as unfortunately I am going to burn him here of Scald once again, didn't really matter because I do have my Ferrothorn in the bag that basically beats this entire team. I guess he could be Life Orb, Alakazam, or Mega Alakazam with Focus Blast, but this is why this is actually why I didn't want his Ferrothorn laying up all those spikes, because it would also detriment my Hoopa, and I really need that thing healthy to check his Alakazam in the end, because that thing is a threat and a half. So I'm just going to go into my Ferrothorn on his Slowbro, beat it 1v1. He's keeps fishing for the Scald Burn. Again, it didn't really matter too much if he got it or not, because Ferrothorn wins regardless. And now he goes into his weakened Gliscor. I thought maybe he would have Roost, so I go for Leech Seed here so I can beat this thing 1v1 also. But he just goes for Knockoff and dies to the Leech Seed. And now he's going to go into Alakazam, and I decide to stay in anyway, just in case he was sub or something. But he turns out to be Encore, which definitely sends off a signal that he is Mega Alakazam, as he decides not to Mega just to avoid the Leech Seed damage with Magic Guard. But now I basically win the game with Choice Banded Hoopa, because whether he switches or not, it doesn't matter. Keldeo dies after the Spikes damage, and no matter what Alakazam does, even if he crits me with Focus Blast, he will not be able to land the KO. Maybe like a really high roll and a crit, but even then, he would also have to land one against my Ferrothorn. So that definitely wouldn't really be working out in his favor. And I believe my Keldeo is also Scarfed. I actually forget. Nah, no, this is Scarf Keldeo. Darius really likes his Scarf Keldeo. Now this is my second game against Mael, and I probably butchered his name because I have an accent, but I use an entirely different squad this time. And basically, like, the feel that I was going for here with all of these teams, I basically asked Darius to just give me his, like, balance breaker squads. Because Mega Sableye is banned, I figured we would get to see a lot of really bulky, shit-faced balance like this, exactly like this. That's why I asked for, give me Mega Metachan, give me Banded Hoopa, and this is actually Banded Weavile, which is really, really cool. So I just stay in here with my Landers to scout out what kind of Talonflame he is. Unfortunately, he is the stupid Stall Breaker Spadef Talonflame, as I just decide to... He predicts my switch into Raikou very nicely, as now he's going to be able to get up his own rocks. And but fortunately, I have a pretty nice counter in Manaphy. This is actually Calm Mind Rain Dance Manaphy, as I just decided to Calm Mind up here just to really threaten the Hippo, as he goes for Roar, very nicely predicting that. I don't see any harm in going for U-turn. Yes, my Jirachi will be hurting, and I need that for Receptile, but it is Choice Scarf Jirachi, and I think the momentum is a lot better to get my Metacham in and go for Mega Evolution and basically get a kill. This Starmie takes 6,000% from high jump kick. I do have Bullet Punch, but I am not confident it would kill, so I decide to just go into Jirachi, as unfortunately he does get the Scald Burn, and it does matter because otherwise U-turn would have killed here, preventing him from spinning, but he actually chooses not to spin, which is kind of odd to me. He actually goes for the Recover. And here I'm predicting his Hippo. I go for HP Ice just to gauge what kind of Hippo he is. But really, with the standard set, I wasn't even going to get close to 2 KOing. So I really should have just doubled into my Manaphy or something. As here I go into Landorus T. In retrospect, I really don't know what I was doing here. This is a really weird Landorus set, but I figured I could at least use it to get some damage on Hippo. As you can see, it's SD Explosion. Gotta love Darius for those sets. As now I'm going to go into Weavile, and I basically get to spam Icicle Crash, as look at how much the Ferrothorn takes from Icicle Crash, and even then, I think this is a really, really physically defensive Ferrothorn, because the next Icicle Crash doesn't kill, and unfortunately he misses Power Whip. I do get some hacks here, but really I couldn't risk any of my other team members, and I think my best play here was just staying in, and I actually thought this would kill as well, and it doesn't. I guess maybe I overestimated Weavile's strength, but I am able to flinch him, and I take out 2 of his team members with the surprise Banded Weavile. But regardless, my win condition here is his Manaphy, as I just go for the Scald actually, predicting a Sceptile to come in, maybe get a burn on him. And I'm forced out here, and I go into my Jirachi as basically to sack it, but he goes for Substitute here. And this is a really important turn, because basically this tells me that he's not Leaf Storm, Nobody runs Leaf Storm Substitute. He is definitely Giga Drain. So, if he was Leaf Storm, I probably lost this match actually. And I could still lose. I'm not really playing that well. I was making really weird plays, like the thing with staying in with Weavile and hoping to Hax him, going into Landorus. Those are not really the best plays. But now I can win with Manaphy since I'm max HP and the Calm Mindset. Nothing really on his team breaks it at +1. If he switches in Sceptile here, I'm at +1. 1v1, I actually do win. But here I'm just going to go ahead and go for Iron Head, break his sub as he takes me out with the Dragon Pulse. I guess he didn't really want to go for sub again, just in fear of just being weakened overall, especially for my Medicham. I just decided to go for the very obvious play, just go for the Choice Band Ice Shard. I could have gone for Icicle Crash here and done a ton to his Tyranitar, but it wouldn't kill regardless, and this thing is actually Choice Scarf T-Tar. I figured, then I guess it did matter if I went for Icicle Crash because I am faster than him. So once again, a play that I am just not making. So he does go for Pursuit, so now I die upon Rock switching, but it doesn't matter that much because Ice Shard would not kill him regardless. As now, basically I'm going to go into my Manaphy and go for the Calm Mind here and just go for game. I mean, that was the main reason why I didn't make the play with my Weaviles, because I knew that Manaphy could win the game from here. Goes into Hippo, and as I just go for the Skull because he does have Roar. And here he's makes kind of an odd play. He goes into T-Tar. I guess he just wanted extra damage to give his Sceptile a hope of beating me, but like it was kind of a mediocre play because he, as you're gonna see later, he could have won if he had saved this T-Tar, but no. Instead, he decides to sack half his team to this Manaphy before finally going into Sceptile. And going for Substitute, I predict that very nicely, go for Rain Dance so I can rest up on his Giga Drain. Like if he had gone for Giga Drain here, he actually could have won. Oh wait, psych! I have double priority Medicham. I guess he probably figured that I had the Medicham in the back, and so he sort of had to go for Substitute. So either way, I won this. So look at that Giga Drain. Did 46%, 0. As now I can just go for the CM right here. Rain's gonna last for another 2 turns, and I can just go for Rest here. And it looks like this is gonna be the end of the game. Because, look at that, 38%, eating it up. Sceptile's hella weak. I hate Sceptile. It's such a bad Pokemon, actually. But, I usually use Tail Glow Manaphy. Oh, yeah, here it is. The critical hit. This was really devastating for me because now I have the Sceptile behind the sub. He could have literally, like, there was not a worse time for him to get this crit. But when he was behind the sub. At +2, I am very confident that I could have broken Sceptile sub, even if it's a 4x resist. Sceptile is hella weak. Like, I hate this Mega, it sucks so bad. But of course he has to get lucky and get the crit, so at this point I kind of admit defeat to myself, even though I still have AB Raikou in the back. I go for Fake Out just to break his sub. I actually don't go for Bullet Punch here, just in case he went for another sub. Then I definitely lost 100%. And I'm AB Raikou here, I'm at 63%. Dragon Pulse is going to do a good amount, I'm at 29% now. I actually didn't expect this Hidden Power to kill. Sceptile is so bad, man. This is AB Raikou, it's not that strong. And it's not like, I guess Sceptile's defenses are even worse than I thought, even when Mega Evolved, because Hidden Power from this weak-ass Raikou kills Sceptile from 100%. Alright, so I was curious, so I actually just calced it, and Hidden Power Ice is an OHKO 87% of the time. Sceptile, what is this Pokemon? This is such a bad Pokemon, I hate this, but it did end up working out for him somewhat. It has a decent matchup against my team, well not really, actually. But it was his only hope of winning, and I figured since this was a Stall Breaker Talonflame, now he has to go for the crit because even Brave Bird does like a maximum of 25% to Raikou, which I didn't know at the time. I actually thought that I lost, but I calced it later, and it turns out even if he did go for Brave Bird here, he would have to rely on a crit. So he just goes for Roost in futility because Thunderbolt, no matter how weak Raikou is and how bulky Talonflame is, Thunderbolt's gonna do it. It's gonna basically OHKO him. I don't understand why he didn't go for, like, there was no way I was gonna let him roost stall me. There's just no way that's gonna happen. I would have gone for Volt Switch if I had seen that his intention was to, wait, no, not even, I have pressure. Raikou has pressure. There was no way he could have PP stalled me out of Thunderbolts. So he lost 100% there, but I guess maybe he doesn't have Brave Bird. It was a bad play. If he had Brave Bird, well, definitely you should have Brave Bird. And second of all, you should have gone for it and hoped for a crit, because I did luck him a little bit. But then again, he crit my Manaphy, which would have swept the remainder of his team. So I think we're kind of even there. That, and I don't think, even if Starmie hadn't flinched, Skull would definitely have not killed me. And even if, like, worst case scenario, it burned me, Starmie was so weak, and Weavile was not doing anything else that entire game. What mattered was the Ferrothorn miss, but of course that was made up by him critting my win condition. But regardless, I pulled through by a hair with my Raikou. And oh, in case you guys forgot, Weavile actually dies to Rock Switch in. And now we go to round 3. Now it's really getting intense because this is a single elimination tournament. And now we're really getting to the good players. You get through the first 2 rounds, alright, now we're kind of narrowing down the playing field. And this is against Hyuga Fodex, round 3, and I use yet another squad. This is probably one of my favorite squads that Darius passed me. It has Will-O-Wisp, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, Knockoff, Spooky Plate, Hex Gengar. And it actually comes through this battle as I'm able to Will-O-Wisp with a Garchomp. I could have taunted here, but rocks don't really hurt this team that much. Like, I have a Klefki and 2 fighting types, and then like a Lottie and a Lando, so I really don't mind rocks that much, and I'm more concerned about keeping Gengar healthy in order to beat basically his entire team. As now I'm going to go for the Hex. Nice one. I didn't know this thing had 130 base power with a status condition. It just knocked out this Garchomp from full, pretty much. Because I do have the Spooky Plate boosting that also. So he goes to Landorus Therian. The only reason I can imagine he'd go to this is if it had knockoff. And I'm also thinking that it's Choice Scarf, as he does go for the knockoff. And now I'm going to be able to get on my rocks. He doesn't have any hazard control, and rocks are just nice in general to weaken his team, especially that Manectric, which is quite annoying to my team. As now I go into Lopunny. Fake Out plus High Jump Kick is a very easy KO on this, and I do have Scrappy, so he can't actually go into Gengar. He has to go into Landorus, and here I figure that there's no way I basically confirmed that he's Choice Scarf because that High Jump Kick did a lot. There's no way he's going for knockoff. He's definitely going for either U-turn or Earthquake, so I make a nice and easy switch to my Gengar and go for another Will-O-Wisp. And I catch us for Alligator, which wouldn't have been my initial switch. If I were him, I would have been very aggressive, and I would have gone straight to maybe Alakazam, because he does have Magic Guard, obviously. Since I did reveal Hex, it was pretty obvious that I was going for Will-O-Wisp, and I really don't have any counters to his... I guess I have Klefki, but that gets worn down very easily. And he goes for Aqua Jet, does negligible damage, and Hex just knocks him out. Now he goes into Alakazam. I go into my Klefki. He actually goes for the Substitute. Really interesting set, but I just go for Foul Play twice and knock him out. Thankfully, he does not get a Spadef drop, or else that could have been pretty bad. I predict either his Manectric or even his Landorus to come in. I just go for Foul Play, do some damage. No point really in going for Thunder Wave. As now I go into my Latios because really this was my counter to Manectric, and I just drop a Draco on his team and get a kill. Gengar was sort of a threat to my team actually. Well, not really, but still it's nice to get that out of the way because it actually lives a hit from my... Does it live a hit from Scarf Keldeo? I actually don't think so. Not after 2 switch-ins to Rocks, I don't think. Here I make kind of a stupid play. I actually don't know why I did this. I guess I just really underestimated Alakazam's power. I go for Calm Mind here, and I let him keep a sub. But I wasn't too worried because I could just break it with Fake Out, sack my Lopunny, and then Scarf Keldeo click Scald 3 times. I calc this, I OHKO 100%. And Keldeo is going to be able to take the game from here. Just click Scald 3 times because I am Choice Scarf. And that's going to be round 3 of the OU Suspect Tour. And now we get to round 4 of the Suspect Tour. I would have to win this game and the next game in order to secure my reqs for the Suspect test this early. So this game I'm playing against Obliviate, and I actually bring the same squad as last time because I think Hex Gengar is really cool, and also that Spike Stacking plus Lopunny was really effective in sort of the balance-oriented metagame that I was expecting. So Obliviate brings this really interesting looking team. Right away I'm looking kind of scared because although my Gengar actually my Gengar actually does obliterate his team, even worse than the last team, except he has this Tyranitar, so I really have to play it conservatively with my Gengar. So as long as I can play my Gengar smart, I think I can win this game, despite sort of the team matchup thing going on. Like, he has three fighting resists, and my main 2 breakers, my main 2 balance breakers are Keldeo and Lopunny. I made the same play as last time, go for Will-O-Wisp. Again, this team doesn't really mind Stealth Rocks too much, and here I'm expecting T-Tar to come in. I go straight into Landorus T, as I guess he just goes for the Dragon Tail. Probably not expecting Hex, but who knows. As he forces me out back into my Gengar. Once again, I don't want his T-Tar coming in on me. If I lose Gengar, this game's over. As he goes into Skarmory, I might as well take this opportunity to lay out my rocks, as I'm just going to go for the slow U-turn. I believe I go into my Klefki here to set up my own spikes. I figured that if it was, that the main purpose in me setting up my spikes is to pressure Tyranitar, make sure it can switch in as few times as possible. Even though I'm pretty sure these 2 are Magic Guard and he has a Latias and a Skarmory, basically this is why I'm trading spikes with his Skarmory, with his Spike Setter, is to pressure both his Garchomp, so it's not a nuisance to my Lopunny, and for Tyranitar. I go for Stone Edge here, just to, I guess, maybe to break Sturdy, and figuring he'd go for Whirlwind anyway. I think this might be no attack Skarmory, which I think is pretty bad. I go for Scald here, and I get the burn, which is really nice for my Gengar later, because I can just use Hex and Oko this thing no matter what. Of course, I would be relying on a speed tie, but obviously I switch out here as he reveals that he's Mega Latias, which is actually kind of a problem, and this is why the burn matters, because now, because I actually don't think that even Life Orb Shadow Ball will be able to knock out a Latias from full. Like, Mega Latias is really, really especially bulky. It's like, what, 160 special defense? It's really crazy. As I'm just hoping that my Klefki can take this thing 1v1. It's not looking like it, because I don't have Dazzling Gleam. I have Flash Cannon for, I believe, Mega Diancie. So, luckily though, I do get the Spadef drop, and I'm able to just go for multiple Flash Cannons. I go for Thunder Wave on this, also to boost Gengar's Hex, and just for the Para Hacks, but mainly for Hex. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm setting up the Gengar sweep at the end of the game. I would have preferred a Paralysis on Latias, because then I'd have to play around with speed ties, maybe sack a few Pokemon even, or try and take it 1v1 with Klefki, which is probably not happening. Well, who knows, it might. At the time I thought it was CM, but go for another Foul Play. It's really not doing anything, and now he's Calm Minding up, and I'm kind of scared. And I just decided to be aggressive and go straight into Gengar, predicting him to either maybe not recover, but Calm Mind again, just to make sure that Shadow Ball would not kill. And here, this is the play that makes the game. This is a 50-50. I had 2 options. I either use Hex and knock out Reuniclus, definitely the biggest threat to my team. He's Calm Mind, so he's like max bold. Nothing on my team breaks Reuniclus except for this Gengar. Or I could switch out as he brings in T-Tar and takes all of that Spikes damage. Just one prediction would have done it, but I decided that there was no way that he would know that I had Hex, maybe, and that he would just go for Psyshock here to get rid of my Gengar, because maybe he thinks he can live Shadow Ball at +1. But, so I foolishly stay in, and he goes into T-Tar, and basically the game ends here, because now he just, he Pursuit Traps me, and I die. Bye! So this is around, like, I kind of still think I might have a chance to win with Lopunny, but realistically, the game ended right here. And what I should have done was gone into Keldeo, was doubled into Keldeo right here, threatened with Scald, and maybe burned the... he might have actually just gone into either Clefable or Latias. He probably would have gone to Latias, but I was hoping maybe he would bring out Clefable and let himself get burned. Even if he's Magic Guard, Hex will still take into effect, and because from there I could just make the hard switch into Gengar, go for Taunt. Tyranitar would be at like 63%, so with one more double out of his Tyranitar, he would have been to the point where he actually could not switch in anymore. He would have had, like after this, there's just one more switch into Spikes, and that's it. He can't switch out. So that was the play of the game, and now I basically just lost, because this is not even Specs Keldeo, it's Scarf. I was able to outspeed and KO his Tyranitar. As now he goes into... I was really hoping this was unaware Clefable. Being the lucky bastard I am, I get the burn, which doesn't matter now because I don't have my Gengar. And it's around here where I kind of just accept defeat because I cannot break Clefable. Or so I thought. It turns out that this Clefable is actually like the Calm variant, so Latios does like a clean 50% to it with whatchamacallit, Psyshock, and from there Lopunny is also just going to be able to finish it off. But oh yeah, because I go for Earthquake here, and this is when I kind of realized that this Clefable is not that physically defensive and that it could still break it. But regardless, there was no way I was breaking Reuniclus, unless, or Latias for that matter, unless I got hella crits and hella para-hacks. So I don't think there's really a point in me narrating the rest of this because I do lose. But just one other thing I want to point out. Look at this fucking counter team though. My two main ways of dealing damage are two offensive fighting types. He has a nice Mega Latias. Like it's basically at its core, it's a spike stacking Klefki Mega Lopunny team. And what does he bring? Brings nice Mega Latias and two Magic Guard users that can defend against both Keldeo and Mega Lopunny. And my main way of breaking those two, Gengar. And what does he bring? He brings a fucking Scarf Tyranitar. So I'm thinking this guy was looking at my replays. And he was probably only looking at my last replay because, like, this was my fault though in the end, because what I should have done from the beginning is not even bring this team. I should have just brought another team. I made sure I had enough teams to last me every single round that I would have to play in a 96-man tournament. And that's really how I was winning all of my games, is switching it up, not staying with the same team. And for in the one time that I decided to stick with the same team, this is what happened, Bop. Because, like, look, if I had brought in any of the other teams, like, say if I had brought in this team, I had a choice banded Weavile. I would have sent this man to the Shadow Realm of just banded knockoffs and icicle crashes. The team from the first game, I had choice banded Hoopa Unbound. Again, I would have sent this man straight to the Shadow Realm. So it's pretty evident that this man just saw my last replay and chose his team based off of that. Complete counter team. And I foolishly decided to stay with the same team, and ultimately that's why I lost, along with the T-Tar play that he made mid-game. Regardless though, I wouldn't say that I'm happy with my result, but I am satisfied that I got to the top 16 at least out of, what, 100 players, including subs. 96-man tournament, made it to round 4. If I had won this game and then won round 5, I would have secured my reqs, but regardless, like, I'm just now getting back into competitive Pokemon, and I feel like this was a very, I guess this is a good start to my comeback, and I don't really mind laddering for my reqs in the end, since I am currently 6-0, so I don't think I'll have any trouble getting the reqs requirement for laddering. It just would have been nice to get reqs right here and just had it over with, you know? But regardless, shout out to my boy Darius for the nice Calm Mind Latios fetish teams. Like, which team did not have Calm Mind Latios and Scarf Keldeo? That's the better question. This team has it. This is the team that doesn't have it, but this team has both the same Latios and Kelvio sets. Shout out to my boy Darius, nice and garbage, nice and garbage sets. Although I will admit, Choice Banded Weavile and the U-Turn Gliscor, that was some heat, but yeah, definitely should have used. I could have actually gone back and used either of the other two teams. What was his Manectric resist? It was Garchomp, which I basically incapacitated turn 1. That was his Manectric counter. I could have just been Volt Switching all over this man, along with Choice Banded Hoopa, getting a kill every time it comes in. So, that definitely was my mistake, sticking with the same squad. Enough of me just rambling and talking in circles. I'll see y'all next time. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like.